Hello friends, I am Sanyukta and today we are going to be learning another Zentangle original pattern. The name of the pattern is ING. Yes, capital letters ING stands for International Netherlands Group. Yeah, something that Molly Hollybox saw, a structure, a helix-based structure in front of a building in Florida when she had gone for a marathon. So basically the pattern is inspired from a helix-based structure seen in the campus, right? So we'll learn straight away how to draw the pattern. It is basically a line-based pattern, very simple to draw. Let us see how. So I'm going to be drawing a zigzag line here, like this, right? And then I'm going to start from this point and drop down a line almost in the which is at the center of this line, right? So basically the center line from this point to the center, almost the center of this line, not exactly the center, from this point to almost the center of this line, from this point to almost the center of this line, this point to almost the center of this line, and likewise, right? And then what I would do is rotate my tile, right, like this. Just a moment. Yeah, I hope you can see it now. Yes. So now I have rotated my tile and now going to do the same exercise the other way, right? Point to line. In this case you can see that this line is running parallel to this line, right? Point to line. Again this line running parallel to this line. Point to line. This line and this line running parallel to each other. Point to line. These two lines running parallel to each other. Again like this, right? These two lines running parallel to each other. So this is the basic of the pattern ING. Let me show you once again. So I have drawn a zigzag. You can draw it small, big. They need not be of the same, size and shape. Just a zigzag. And then point to line. In this one, when you are drawing the first set of lines, you are joining it to almost the half of the line on which you are placing the line, right? So almost the half of this line, from this point to almost the half of this line, point to line, point to line, point to line, right? And then we rotate our tile like this. Since I am drawing on my scrapbook, so I had to take off the sheet, right? Then the same exercise from this point to this line. Okay, now while going upside down, you can see that these two lines are almost running parallel. Again, point to line, these two lines are running parallel. Point to line, these two lines are running parallel. Point to line, point to line, point to line, right? So this is the basic ING. This is how it looks. Now what can you do with it is each of these spaces can act as a reticula, right? Or a space or a grid in which you can add more patterns to create a tangulation. Just to show you a simple example, I have drawn an outline on an aura inside and then filled up inside with tipple, right? Just to give a simple example, an aura inside and then the tangle pattern, tipple, or you can say parts of the tangle perf. Now that you know the pattern perf also. Perk. So part of the pattern perk, right? Or simply orbs. So each of these sections provide you ample of opportunities to create tangulations. You can fill it up the way you want, embellish it, add another pattern, right? So that is how you go about creating a tangulation. Now how do we shade it? There are number of ways. There is no standard way to go about shading, right? So generally on these lines right? Generally on these lines. Where they seem to be going inside, right? Under. So you can shade it any way you want. If you want to give the impression of these going under, you can shade it this way, right? Highlight the places where the smaller ones seem to be going under, or just simply each of these triangles, right? Just add an aura inside each of these triangles and shade them, just to give you an example. Again, if you're filling up these triangles with patterns, then the shading depends on what have you filled up, right? So I'm just added an aura inside, and then smudging it and leaving the center white, right? So that is also one way you can go about shading your ING, right? Like this. So this is the pattern ING. So the points worth noting here is, once you start the first lines, joining, start from the dot, join on the almost the center point of the next line on which you are joining the line, right? And then when you rotate it and then start drawing the lines again, then almost these two lines and these two lines would be running parallel to each other. So you can make out from there how and where you have to draw the lines, right? So let us draw a tile today using the pattern ING. In front of me is a square tile, and I am going to be drawing ING like this. Let us add a border, my 4 dots in place, right? And then I'm going to place my ING like this. There is no hard and fast rule that you have to increase the size of the line with every consecutive zigzag, right? You can keep it the same size also. Now let us start joining. So point to center of this line, point to center of this line, point to center of this line. Don't have to be that accurate that it has to be exact center, but almost the center, right? Point to center of the next line, opposite line, point to center, right? And then I rotate my tile. Oh, it is so much easier to rotate here, right? So again, this line running parallel to this one, 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 and the same ways, right? So that's your pattern ING. Now what I am going to do is, in the smaller ones I am going to add another tangle. You can call it Munchin or you can call it DL Sunrays, whichever you want. I have already used this pattern couple of times, if you remember, right? So just drawing a moon kind of shape at the corner and then drawing these sun rays kind of thing. The pattern also called DL sun rays, or you can say I am drawing Munchin and then coloring the tip of the Munchin from where the lines are emanating, right? Like this, right? Again Keep rotating your tile so that your hands are comfortable. Right? Again. So as I told you, each of these sections created provide you ample of opportunities to create tangulations. Just play around, right? So what I'm doing here is adding these rays to the smaller sections created in my ING, right? And then for the bigger sections, I'm going to give it a coffered look. We have already drawn coffered cadence earlier, if you remember. So what I'm doing is drawing 3 dots at the 3 corners and then drawing lines like these, right, to create a coffered look. Again, joining these lines with the corners and then joining these dots together, right? Again 3 dots at the 3 corners, joining these dots with the corners and then with each other. So this is called the coffered look. We had used this in our series on cadent, right? So again 3 dots join to the corners and then join these dots with each other, right? 3 dots, join them with the corner and then join them with each other. Like this, right? So the inside of these, what we can do is you can draw printum or any other pattern you feel like. You can just fill it up with orbs, right? I am drawing the pattern printums here. Like this, right? So you can see here how easily we have created a tangulation by adding 2 patterns here to the original pattern ING. Right? Again, same pattern throughout, then extending these auras till the end to the corners, like this, right? And the last one. Yeah, so this is our ING now. This is how it looks. Now what I'm going to do is give a very thin aura so that the other tangles that I'm going to add to it do not mess up or mix up with my ing. So I'm adding a very thin line of aura here, almost touching the previous line already there. Right, like this. And now let us add some tipples around, right? So what I'm going to do is, with my pencil, just draw an oval just as a reference as to where I have to draw my tipple, right? And I'm going to be drawing and filling up this space with tipple of multiple size, with the tangle pattern tipple varying in size, like this, right? So I'm going to be starting with some big orbs, and then as I move forward, I'm going to be reducing the size of the orbs, like this. Like this, right? So you can make out I am filling up the small spaces that are left in between two consecutive at the same time, right? So that I don't have to come back doing that exercise. So I'm going to add these different sizes of tipple inside this oval in the same way, right? So you can see here what I have done is, this oval shape that I had drawn with a pencil, I have completely filled it up with the tangled tipple. And in the background I have also drawn some big orbs or tipple, you can say, right, all over. You can add a few more here and there, right, the way you wish. Just randomly I have drawn some orbs in the background, right? So what I am going to do is, I am going to fill up the rest of the space with ink, pick up my 08, right, and fill up the background with black, just leaving these orbs which I have drawn, right, so that these orbs get highlighted and the background becomes black absolutely. We'll add some drama to my tile, as we already have seen in many of our tiles that bold black portions add a lot of drama to the tile, right? So what I'm going to do is, just leaving these orbs, I'm going to ink the rest of the tile, right? So it is going to take a little time. So let me get back with it. So you can see here, this is how the tile looks after I completely inked the background with the black pen, right? So let us now start shading our tile. So what I'm going to do is add a thick graphite at the edges of this tipple band that I have drawn. Like this, right? So adding some thick graphite at the edges, and then going to add some graphite inside and on these moons just adding a touch because the spaces here are pretty small, so I'm avoiding that entire portion goes gray, right? So just take your time, be gentle, just add a thin graphite inside. Alternatively, what you can do is you can add some graphite at these corners and blend it. That is also one way you can shade it, will look nice. I'm shading the inside, right? And we'll see if we require to shade on the borders, right? So let us now blend. So I have picked up my stump here and then going to pull the graphite towards the center. Like this, right? Again on the other side, blending the graphite at the edges and pulling it towards the center. Again, I don't wish to cover up the entire center. Just using the graphite that's already there on my stump. Right, something like this. And then with a very light hand, just a touch. Just a touch. I am using the tip here so that I just blend as much as required, right? Like this. Again. Right. So you can also add some graphite at these, just a touch. Not much. It's again entirely up to you. Right, just going to add a touch. Like this. Right, and then these orbs, just adding a C shape inside, like this, just adding a C shape inside, right, and then going to blend it like this. Just a touch, some of them are really small. So just blended the C shape and completed a circle inside, right? Just blending the C shape and completing a kind of a circle inside with the stump, like this, right? Just blending the C and completing a circle inside. The very light hand. right? And a little embellishment. If you wish, you can pick up your white jelly roll, O8 or O10, and add few dots. Maria's favorite, right? She adds dots wherever she can. I've always seen. Look great. Right, so just a few of them, not many. So jelly roll takes a little time to dry up, so be careful, don't put your hand immediately after you have put a dot, right? So this is how our tile looks with the pattern ING and some tipple to support, right? I'm now going to initial my tile, right? Sign and date it. So take a moment to appreciate your tile, right? And we'll meet again with another new Zentangle pattern, an original. Till then, have a good time, stay safe, bye-bye.